Hey, what's up, guys? I wanted to share a special moment with you today, which is my 50th trip over the mountain of getting over it with Bennett Foddy. Not familiar, you drag yourself up a mountain with a sledgehammer as a man in a pot. So, pretty enthralling stuff. But I really wanted to talk about the power of persistence and just how incredible that can be while I drag myself up this mountain. So, first off, this little challenge or this goal that I'm trying to do here, um, I looked it up, and apparently at least 3 million people have bought this game. So sold pretty well. Good on Bennett Foddy for making a soul-crushingly difficult game and making that much profit off of it. But about 2.7% of the player base has the final achievement, which is called "So Over It," and so if you do some rough math, 3 million copies on 2.7% is around 98,765 people. So not exact, because we don't know exactly how many people have bought the game, but that puts you in almost a 1 in 100,000 group of people that have that achievement. So not the hardest thing I've ever done in gaming, but it is notable, I guess. So so that's the achievement that we're going for. My best time doing it is like about 8 minutes up the mountain. I don't think I'm going to beat that today here because I'm talking and a little distracted. But my first time doing this in this game took forever, and the game's designed to be difficult. Like you can see what I've been at old Bennett Foddy silence down there because he's trying to talk at the same time. Um, but he talks about exactly what this game is and why he made it the way it is. Um, the game is supposed to make you aggravated, I guess. Um, Bunch of great videos of people just rage quitting this game if you want some good cheap laughs. But what I really want to talk about is what this game makes me think of personally, and just what I kind of the experience I found climbing this mountain so many times and sucking at this part. Um, so one of my favorite quotes is a quote that it's I haven't been able to narrow down any one person who it originates with. Um, I guess because there's variations on it, but my variation on it is the river cuts the valley not by strength but by perseverance, and this this game this game like embodies that. Um, because you can't really brute force your way through any part of this game. At least not until you've mastered it. And there's videos of people who have absolutely mastered it. But it really it really does force you to both like learn its mechanics and the level itself and some of the routes that you can take. And man, I'm doing bad. I was doing this daily, and then once I hit 49, I was like, you know what? I want to make a video about this. So I'm out of practice slightly. But speaking on the that quote, I looked up interesting comparison because I was curious to see what the largest man-made canyon is, and it is Bingham Bingham Canyon mine. It's in Utah. I don't know if I'm saying it exactly right. That's how it's spelled though. Um, and you can Google it. It's Bingham, and pretty impressive pictures of it. But a couple years ago, my wife and I went to the Grand Canyon, and we live on the East Coast, and so it is not close to us geographically, but absolutely incredible experience. It does not look real. It looks like it almost looks like a painting or like a high resolution like desktop background when you're looking at it. Like your brain really can't comprehend the scale. Um, and so just Googling and looking at Bingham Canyon versus the Grand Canyon, you can kind of see like a literal physical comparison of like humans trying to brute force a canyon. Granted, like their goal wasn't to make a aesthetically pleasing canyon; it was for mining. But you get a you get a pretty good comparison if you Google Bingham Canyon and then Google the Grand Canyon, or if you've been. Um, it's pretty awe inspiring. I don't even know how to properly like describe it other than how I just did that. It looks more like a painting than something real. Um, but it is like a physical embodiment of one of my favorite quotes because you're looking at just the Colorado River and its millions of years of perseverance and cutting this incredible canyon. So, man, I'm screwing it up on here today. So, anyways, the other thing I wanted to talk about because this game definitely makes me think of it is how through perseverance, sometimes something that you're conditioned at and that you've done before, like your daily grind, is just harder or easier for no apparent reason for some days. Um, so like in this game, for example, like the spot I'm about to do, it's a spot that it's kind of tricky. It's I think it's kind of intentionally supposed to be a spot that trips people up. So I screwed it up right there. So if you go up too quick, you'll bounce off that cliff and it throws you back down a good ways. Um, it, okay. So it makes me think of there's a YouTube channel called the Dry Creek Wrangler School, and it's ran by it's this old rancher cowboy, and I can't think of his name right now. Watched full interviews and stuff with him. Good dude, but um, he had a video and I couldn't find it. I wanted to find it so that I could rewatch it and have it fresh on my mind, and also like link it here because it's just excellent. But he was talking about like back in the day when cowboys would show up to do like a big ride and push a lot of cattle over a lot of terrain. Most of those cowboys didn't own their own horses. Like they weren't rich and horses were expensive. So they were usually just issued a horse essentially for that day. And they didn't know what they were getting necessarily. Like they didn't know if they were getting a real chill horse or one that might be lazy that they have to push a little bit harder, or one that's going to kind of be aggressive and try to buck on them. And and he kind of relates that back to life. That just because you wake up feeling excellent one day doesn't mean you're going to be doing that the next. And but the whole point of his video is, you ride the horse that you're dealt. Like you have a job to do, whatever that job may be, and you make the best of that. And I I really like that. So I think where that connects with me the most is in this game. As I was saying earlier, like there's certain parts that are just intentionally harder or supposed to trip you up, and there's days where I come on here and I just blow past them. Like seeing that I've done this 50 times now, and a lot of that was me just doing it like one or two times a day. I never had like some big concerted push to do like 10 in a day or something. Um, but there's parts where, one day I would just smoke past this, and then the next day I'd get stuck on a part that I got first try the previous day, and it would take me like, 10 or 15 minutes sometimes, just ridiculous amounts of time. Um, for, I mean, your first time going through this whole game is pretty difficult and stressful, but once you've got a few reps in, it feels kind of weird when one area takes you that long to get through. Um, and then it also related to me because back in like 2020 into 2021, um, I worked at for a local sheriff's office and worked as an officer in the jail there, and it felt kind of the same with that, and that's actually when I heard that, and it really like spoke to me and related to me a lot. And the thing there is like that was a stressful job. I didn't have like there's people who had way crazier experiences there than I did, but stressful job in general. And some days though, you would go in and like you'd be well rested. You'd have like just a good. You'd be like you've eaten well, well rested, working with like uh, a crew that you like or officers that you get along with and trust and everything. And you'd feel super confident even if things go sideways. I mean, it's a crazy job. Fights happen a lot between inmates and officers, and sometimes people would sneak drugs in, overdose on them, or have medical emergencies. Had several times having to talk to people who were having a heart attack, like while EMS is on the way, and trying to keep them like both calm and conscious. Like just it's an experience. Oh, I screwed up again. That's another spot where a lot of times I'll get that first try, but I screwed it up this time. So, anyways, that's when those is work while working there. I think that I saw that video, and so it and I could be conflating that in the past. If anybody finds that video and it's like post 2021, then maybe I'm misremembering here. But um, so just applying that while working there, because the inverse would be, you'd have a day where you barely slept, or um, you ate the wrong things, or your stomach feels bloated and you feel slow or sluggish, or you're working with people who you don't necessarily trust to have your back or make the best decisions under stress, and so just stressful job. But taking that quote of you ride the horse that you're dealt that day. I really love that and really love like having to apply that. Um, and and same thing like, and I've heard people I've never been in a gunfight. I've been shot at. That's a whole different story. But never been in a gunfight. But I've heard people who have be like, hey, just because you had a good day and you were brave once doesn't mean you're going to be brave the next time you need to be. So like you need to work on yourself and condition yourself so that the odds of you making being in the right headspace and making the correct decisions are higher. Oh, that's that's crazy. Let's see. Yep. Okay, good. So I really thought about that though, because there were times where like fights would pop off, and I wouldn't even think. I'd just act and never have time to think, and it felt amazing to like be in a high stress situation like that, and you make all the right decisions and everything works out. But there are other times where like if I think something's about to pop off, and on a cognitive level, like I'm not freaking out. I'm not like thinking I'm gonna die or things are gonna like go just too far sideways. But like on a physiological side, like my heart rate would be through the roof, like just massive adrenaline spike, and nothing's going on. Like I swear there were times where like my heart rate was lower during actual emergencies than it was before emergencies because I didn't feel prepared for the situation. Like I said, it might have just been like I didn't sleep well, or wasn't feeling great that day, or who I was working with, whatever. Um, but it was very noticeable because like in the moment I usually wouldn't think about it much, but later that night, laying there trying to go to sleep, and it's like, why was I so calm last week when I was in an actual fight, and then like today, and like I said, I wasn't freaking out on a cognitive level, but it was definitely noticeable on a physiological level, like my heart rate and breathing and stuff. So, um, hey, there we go. I did it. I think I'm gonna restart though because I got more words to say. Um, oh, I bounced off the asteroid wrong. Oh, there we go. There we go. Launch yourself up. And Bennett Foddy's telling me that he loves me. Oh my gosh, I'm just okay. There we go. Once you see the little like fireworks looking effect, you know you're there. Okay, so we're gonna do that, and then I solemnly swear I am actually recording and streaming, so I'm gonna hit no. Got it in 15 minutes. I got the achievement. I hope OBS captured that. I think it will. So we're gonna do no. I'm just gonna restart it here because I have more words to say. Um, so going with that, like at the time that bothered me, and I've switched to a much like I say lower stress job, and it is on a daily basis. It's much lower stress, but it's still like stressful. It's still part of critical infrastructure, and things can go wrong and become stressful with it. So, but what I wanted to say is like learn to accept that. Like learn to accept those those days when you're off, or those days when you're not feeling your best, or performing your best, or it could be a faith thing. Like if you're a person of faith, um, and one day you're just feeling like having your doubts. Don't don't beat yourself up over that. Like just accept it as part of the process. Um, and then on the inverse of that is when you are feeling good, use that momentum. Like try to do something with that because you might not have it. You might not have it the next day. Um, and leading from that, so the guy that you're playing as in the pot here is they say his name once, like towards the end of the climb. His name is Diogenes. Bennett Foddy says Diogenes. I think that's his British accents clashing with the Latin name there. Um, which I like Diogenes better. That sounds cooler, but I think proper pronunciation is Diogenes. Um, I might be butchering that, but he's considered the father of cynicism, and I don't know much about him historically. I once I heard his name in this as he's the man in the pot, I was like really curious to know who that is, and I think he was. Oh, you know what? I don't know if he was Roman or Greek. I would have to look that up. But anyways, considered the father of cynicism, lived a really like counter social life for the time. Was very self reliant, and um, I didn't really initially understand why he chose the father of cynicism for for the name of this man in the pot. Um, but at the about the same time that he says his name, he oh my gosh, why is this part so hard? Okay, there we go, maybe. Um, but around the part that he says his name, he's asking like, are you when you're playing this game, who are you? Are you this man's will, or well, are you the man in the pot, or are you the hammer? And he concludes with saying that he thinks that you're actually his will, because he said that you really don't have any control over the man in the pot. You just have control over the hammer, and also the hammer might not go where you intend it. So at the end of the day, you are effectively his will. Um, and I love that concept because I play a lot of games. I play a lot of multiplayer games and single player stuff, and you know, with that with that framework, you're effectively playing as the will of your character in whatever game you're playing. Um, but in a really difficult game like this, or y'all know from previous videos if you've watched any, I really like fighting games like Street Fighter and Super Smash Bros. And fighting games are notoriously difficult. Um, and so the concept of playing as a character's will made me think of a story, or I guess an anecdote, that was told by this former Navy SEAL, this guy named Eric Davis. Um, cool guy. He if you look him up, he puts out content. It is incredible, like how few viewers he has for how good. I wouldn't say his content's um like high production value. I mean, I know my channel's not either, not right now, not yet, but um, he puts out some very good advice. And one of the things that he wrote, he used to write for a website called Spotter Up, and if you like kind of like the history or applied concepts and stuff of either like military history or special operations, that website was really good reading for that kind of thing. And he wrote a uh, just a short article for them about failure and like embracing, not embracing failure, because like failure is not the goal. And it's something they say in this game that there's a point where Bennett Foddy is talking to you, and he's like, I think we're the same, and that you're not chasing success, you're addicted to failure essentially. And I like that concept, but I'm not addicted to failure. I'm addicted to failure reps, or I've tried to make myself addicted to them, and that's essentially what Eric Davis is saying in that article that he wrote. And the way that he captures that, because he's a SEAL and he went through BUDS, or basic underwater demolition training, which is notoriously difficult. Plenty of plenty of content and videos and documentaries stuff on that out there, but he doesn't actually relate it to BUDS. Like he mentions BUDS as like, something difficult that he's done that took persistence, but he says after he became a SEAL, apparently like with the West Coast teams he was part of, a lot of those dudes surf, and because out there on West Coast they actually have waves good for surfing, unlike the East Coast. Um, and so while he was out there, tried to learn to surf, and he sucked at it. And you can imagine being around a bunch of type A dudes and just sucking at something they're all good at. Like you're gonna get razzed on a little bit for that. And he said that one of those guys finally came over to him because he's getting aggravated. He is, oh, okay. I thought I screwed up twice, like same way I did last time there. But he said one of those dudes came over finally and was like, saw that he's getting frustrated with it, and he said, stop going out there and trying to surf. Like you're not gonna successfully do that anytime soon, not on the level that you want to. But he said you're gonna have to go out there and fall 10,000 times before you learn to surf. So when you go out there, don't go out there with the intention of surfing, because you're setting the bar too high. But go out there with the intention that you owe. Oh, oh, a little stuck. Um, but he said, go out there with the intention that you owe 10,000 falls to earn the right to surf, like to build that skill set. And and he said it actually really helped him, because when he went out, he was he's no longer thinking of it in terms of like, man, I suck at surfing. It shifted his perspective. So now he's going out there the uh with the intention and goal of like, I'm just paying the tax that's gonna allow me to surf, and that tax just happens to be falling into the water 10,000 times. And um, so that's kind of how this game feels like. there's parts of it, well, like this mountain. This mountain right here is perfect. So, I mean, I've been up it, what, 51 times now? Or this is my 51st time? And sometimes your hammer just does not stick in the side of this mountain where you want it to, and you start sliding back down. And there's videos of people like getting to this point, super close to the end, and giving up. I don't know how I'm stationary on that ice right now, but I will take it. Um, anyways, I love that. So if you're doing anything difficult, whether it's, I mean, it could be something small like getting good at a video game, or it could be something bigger like your profession or relationship stuff. If you're trying to be a better husband or father or whatever, friend, um, you know, don't try to brute force it and look at doing the small things right as just paying your reps and paying your dues. Because whenever I think of brute forcing any kind of relationship thing like that, I always think of oh man, hit the bottom of this. I always think of that trope that you see in like movies. I mean, I guess it's a real thing. It makes sense that it would be a real thing, but that trope that there'll be the father, like the divorced father that's basically not in the kid's life, but then they show up like on the kid's birthday with like some fancy, expensive presents and stuff, and like they're trying to brute force being a father. They're not doing the daily reps, the daily grind, the daily failures, like where you weren't patient enough or you weren't attentive enough, and um and acknowledging that and trying to get better. They're just showing up on what's supposed to be an important day and trying to brute force that action instead of paying their dues, because you don't magically become great at anything like that. So anyways, I've probably rambled enough. What I do want to end on, though, while we get this nice little ending, is I close a lot of my videos with the Bible verse, Proverbs 27:17, and it's this isn't a, well, once again, depending on which version of the Bible you read, this is translated differently, but my favorite iteration of it is oh, skipping that. But my favorite iteration is, just as iron sharpens iron, so too does one friend sharpen another. And I try to put that at the end of a lot of my videos, at least the ones that I try harder on or put more effort into. And and I am a Christian, despite my language in some of these videos. Um, and so I just wanted to put out there, though, that try to be that iron in somebody else's life, and that's really my goal of this video today. I wanted to document my 50 and I guess 51st now trip over the mountain, but a lot of my videos have really been about more science and applying it to video games or tactics, and I love doing that stuff. But I was like, I'm gonna try a little philosophy, and I don't want to tell anybody how to live their life necessarily, but just a touch of advice that helps me in my life after 34 years on this planet. So, anyways, guys, thank you for watching me get over it twice. I think I'm gonna uninstall this game now and never play it again. Take it easy.